Well, hello everybody, and well, I am getting ready to start my 10th year of teaching this American history class, and it's evolved over the years. I think that everybody that's taken it can probably say that they probably had some sort of different experience, every year. And one thing that has been a common question throughout my time here teaching is, why should we learn history? Why should we study it? Why should we even care about it? And, I've got my own opinions about it. First off, it gives me a paycheck every couple of weeks. And secondly, well, I could bore you with all kinds of reasons why history is important. I devoted my life to it, and I love it, absolutely love it. So what I've done over the last couple of years is I've visited as many historic sites as possible during the summertime. And I have made it sort of a social experiment to go around and more or less confront total strangers and kind of shove a camera in their face and say, why do we learn history? And the most common response I got was, but after thinking about it for a couple minutes, a lot of them had very enlightened opinions as to why we learn history. And so this little video is going to kind of show you some of those, a few of those video interviews that I met. I met some very interesting people in my travels. Some of them I couldn't include because, well, they were a little freaky. So anyway, I hope you enjoy. And as you're watching this, I want you also to think about, why you think we should learn history. Is it just take up an hour a day of class time? I don't think so. I think it's much more important than that. So be thinking about that, and we will discuss it in class as to why we should learn history. But enjoy the individuals, and hope you enjoy it. Okay. So if you'd like to introduce yourself.
Hi, I'm Jamie May, and I'm a senior staff archaeologist with the Jamestown Rediscovery Project here on Jamestown Island, and we are discovering the remains of the original 1607 James Fort and the town that developed throughout the period of time up into the 1620s when the fort stood here. And the reason we think this work is important is because the history that's gone into the history books was written with a real bias. And things tend to change over time depending on what trends are going on currently. Like the Mayflower became the big important part of history because people thought that religious freedom was very important, and it is, but they weren't the first people here. The people here in Jamestown were, and it was a capitalist venture here. And so we're learning different things through time. When you continue to study history, it's going to change, and the way you read those documents is going to change, and you're going to find new bits of information that actually may give you a very different story of what was going on here in the past than what you know now. So that's important for a number of reasons. You want to know the motivations of how our country became what it is today. You want to know the mistakes they made so you can avoid making those mistakes in the future. And you want to know what worked for them. And what makes us Americans today is what all these folks went through. It's what the Native Americans went through when they were subject to the arrival of the English. And it was the whole story where it all comes together here at Jamestown. This is the first place we had slavery. It was a terrible institution, but it's good to know about it, because if you don't know why things happened, if you don't know how they happened, you're never going to be able to put things in the proper context for how we got to where we are today.
Hey, thank you so much. All right.
Well, I'm Davis. I'm working here in the fort at Jamestown. I don't know. I like history because I like this kind of stuff. I'm a reenactor. If you really get into history, look at it this way. Everything your mom says you can't do, places like this you can come do it. Play with fire, blow things up, hit things, run around with sharp things, make sharp things.
Awesome. Yeah.
A whole group of fun little thingies that you really can't do anywhere else. That's my spiel.
All right. All right.
Hi guys, my name is Josh Egloff. I've been working here at Yorktown Victory Center for a couple weeks or so I'm kind of new. But for the most part, what we do here is we blow things up, we shoot some cannons, we shoot some mortars and muskets. We have some tools set out here for a regimental surgeon that he would be using. A lot of this stuff is important. History is important because it's important to relate to your past, to know where your country came from, what people had to deal with in the past, and how they've influenced the people of today.
Okay. And you're on.
Hey guys, I'm Detective James McDevitt of the Washington Metropolitan Police, and I give a tour here at Ford Theater here in Washington, D.C. about the assassination of Lincoln, the whole conspiracy. So, why did people even care? I don't know. Bottom line is, it's actually exciting. Most people who come to the tour think that Booth shot Lincoln, and that was it. But actually, Booth tried to assassinate Grant and Lincoln, and they were going to kill Vice President Johnson, and they were going to kill Secretary Seward, and have the South rise up and do a total overthrow of the government. So, when you look at it, history is not just learning the facts, but it's actually learning of like how the nation evolved. Because at that time, no one even knew who would be president if you killed the president. Like today, yeah, you know, like the vice president takes over, and at that time, you had no idea. It was the first, this country's kind of like the first 9/11, when everything shut down and had no idea what to do, and people panicked. So you learn from those things, and you move on. And then you're able to write really, really cool movies about it years later, and you enjoy those, and you go to the theater and see it. That's why you do history.
All right, thank you so much. So if you wouldn't mind introducing yourself?
I'm sorry?
If you wouldn't mind introducing yourself?
Okay. I'm Ed Mudd. I'm a third cousin, 3 removed from Dr. Mudd. And I'm part of the Historical Society that operate the Dr. Mudd House and museums. And we believe that history is very important, because if it wasn't for knowing where our ancestors came from, we wouldn't have anything to base our future lives on. And we're trying to teach it now before people forget it. Because once you forget, or generations past, it's lost. I know a lot of things I wish I asked my parents when they were still living, but they are gone, and I just don't have no way of finding out.
Mm-hmm.
So history is very important.
Right. Thank you so much.
All right?
Yeah.
First, I think you should study history because it's just fun. It's fun to know about the people in the past, because they created the world that we live in today. And we can't completely understand who we are, and indeed to even be able to predict where we might be going, unless we understand the whole continuity. Life is a continuation. It's a line, it's linked, it's all linked together. And if we break that link, we lose our own identity. So it's very, very important that we understand what came before. It's also very important that we understand our history so that we can, in some fashion, give thanks. Thanks to those who came before. We stand on their shoulders. We stand on the shoulders of all the men and women who came before us, who fought, who bled, immigrants who worked in so many different ways to give us the things that we have today. So for no other reason, we need to understand the past so that we can be grateful for what we have.
All right, and who are you?
I'm Bill Fowler, and I'm a professor of history at Northeastern University.
All right, thank you so much.